like how to design an approval notification. So let us like get into very simple one, how to perform approval. Nothing but like when you design a workflow, what is the way we can provide an approval? Like it's kind of for your action notification. It is called for your action notification, and you can have either approve, reject, like many things are there. You can have a forwarding, many things are there. But in our today example, what I will try to do is we'll try to discuss how to approve a notification as well as how to reject it. And one more thing is like when you do an approval, when you do an approval or maybe a reject, how do you know like maybe like during approval you want to call a PLC procedure, but if not based on approval or reject, how can we call a PLC API? So we will just see the two examples today. Okay, one is approval or reject notification as
Okay.
well as how to call a PLC API from the from the workflow. Now,
Okay.
I can.
Sridhar, one more thing. Can you show me the multiple approver also, right?
Yeah, that is, yeah, see, Ramay, initial, this is the second, second, right? So just go in a sequence,
Yeah.
it will take some time to understand those things.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, so I have to
Yeah.
fix that
Okay.
whole. It
Because
requires
why I ask you this question means I always used to find difficulty in having this how to write a program for a multiple approver. I always struggle on this.
yeah,
So
it is
I
very
thought,
easy. No, it's very easy. I have done it. Like nothing but
okay.
what you have to do is you have to create a role, assign a set of
Yeah,
users to the role, and then send a
okay.
notification to the role. That's it. It will automatically send this.
Okay.
The
Okay.
notification will be sent to multiple approvers. Nothing but broadcasting your workflow.
Oh,
Yeah, we can do that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah. So now here, when you design a workflow, one thing you have to understand is whether you want to, as we understand earlier yesterday, item is a top level component in the workflow. Item is a top level component in the workflow. Now, an item can have a number of processes. An item can have a number of processes. It's similar to your package. Now, if you consider principal package, a package can have any number of processes, right? Any number of processes. The same way, an item can have any number of processes. Either we can use an existing workflow, like yesterday we have done, right? Like we can just use an existing workflow, and we can create a new process in that one. We can just create a new process in that one. So now there are two ways of opening the workflow. We can open the workflow file which we created yesterday, or we can open the workflow from the database itself. We can open the workflow from the database itself. And now I'm trying to open the workflow from the database. So give the database, like we have to mention, like here, how come our workflow recognizes this information is, it depends upon the TNS entries which you mentioned in the workflow. It depends upon the TNS entries which you mentioned in the workflow developer. Once you install the workflow developer,
Yeah.
so you're aware of that, right?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay, fine.
Sridhar. You
Fine.
have to go to admin and network. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And what was the workflow name?
I have a basic knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Workflow name.
It's a,
Trust RAM FYY. No. That's a go. XSS RAM FYF. No, go up. Yeah, that one.
okay. Yeah, so this was a workflow, and now, yeah. So we have one process already, right? Like yesterday we have decided one process.
Mm.
Now today what we do is we create one more process in the same item. See, like every time does not need to have a separate item, separate process. You can simply have the same process, sorry, same item. In this itself, we can create a new process. Okay, it depends upon the
Okay.
business requirement. Either you can create a new item and the new process, or maybe within the same workflow itself, you can create a new process. It depends upon how you are working on. And now click on new process here, exit for the action process, exit for your action process. Now click OK. Now just double click on this one. It will open the window for us to design the workflow. So again, we require to start as well as everything, right? So now just click on this function icon, click on this one, and now create a start process. Start, start, okay. WS underscore standard, but no operation. Now on the node, make it as start. Okay. Now again, click on this one, new function, and right, and give the function name, and then node, and then end. So this is a common thing. So every function, every workflow process should require a start as well as end. Now, what are we expecting in this particular example is we require a notification with an approval purpose. Nothing but it should have two buttons, an approve or reject. Nothing but a notification. When notification is sent to the user, it should have two buttons. Nothing but it has to perform an action. What we do is we have to design it. What we require for having the button, like on what basis these buttons are displayed is it displayed based on the lookup type what we create. So first of all, what we do is we create a lookup type. Create a lookup type here, new access or maybe simply approve or reject. So we can have a different name, but just understanding purpose and don't use this name, approve or reject, approve or reject, like this. It's a lookup name. Now we have to create a lookup codes inside this one. It's a lookup name. Now we have to create a lookup code inside these things. So internal name, approve, and display name is approve. And one more thing, new lookup code, reject. This is for the purpose of reject button. Now create a message, new message, for your action message, for your action message. And now write the subject name regarding provide your approval. Okay. Something like this. Now this is our message. Now the same way we'll create a notification access for your action notification. Now we require what is the message for your action message, and here we have to assign the lookup. What is the result type? We have to assign the lookup name here. Yesterday we have not assigned anything here, but this time as we require a notification to have an appropriate approval stuff, we have to assign the result type. Nothing but the lookup which we created. Just click on OK here. Okay. Now drag and drop this attribute, the user attribute here under this for your action. Now drag and drop this notification onto the page. Drag and drop this notification onto the page, onto the process. Okay. Now link it. And now observe here carefully. Like when you drag and drop a link from the for your action notification to the end one, so it shows a result option here. Can you see? It shows approve, reject, default, as well as any. So why it is giving these all stuff? Because it is expecting a result. It is expecting a result for the notification. Either we have an approve or a reject. How I am getting this approve or reject? Because I have assigned a result value for the notification. Where did we assign? Observe here again. Can you see the result type? The result type I have assigned a lookup value, right? The result type I have assigned a lookup value here. That is why it is showing either approval as well as reject. Now what we do is, as we don't have much complexity process here, whether it's an approval or reject, we just want to end it as of now. But later on we'll try to enhance it. But as of now, what I would like to do is now just drag and drop this here, and whether it's an approve, call the end process again, and if it is reject also, say call the same end process again. If it is reject also, call the end process again. Reject. Right? Can you see? Either approve it is calling the end, either reject also it is calling the end. Okay? But later on, once we finish this one, we'll try to see the difference again. Okay? But as of now, either the approved or reject will be calling the end process. Now on the for your action notification, double click here, and on the node attribute, mention the performer. Mention the performer. Right? So click on apply and OK. Now save it in the database now. So if you see some error, check it what is error. Notification activity message must have the response attribute named result. So we have to assign the result to the message attribute also. So go to the message attribute for your action message, and there is a property called result, and apply the lookup type here. Apply the lookup type here also. Okay, you can OK. Now again try to save it. Yes, perfect. And also click on validate. It has to give successfully validated design. Now To invoke this one, what you require, item type is same and the attribute is also same. The only difference is the process name. So right click here, click on the properties and find out what is the process name. Make a note of the process name and go to the SQL developer and we can mix with the existing anonymous log coding what we have discussed yesterday. So just change the process name here. Just change the process name here. The remaining things are same, so there's no need to change any of those properties. So now just try to execute this one. Alright, so now go to the instance, refresh the page and let us see whether it has sent a notification or not. So we have not yet received, right? We have not yet received. Now, let me refresh one. Can you see? No, this is not the one, right? This is a different one. Okay, so why it is not giving? Okay, let us go to that one. Let us go to workflow administrator web application and find out what is happening there. Status monitor and search with the name. Item type is correct, transaction process correct, and username, user. Let me enable the debugging software also. If it's giving any error, so we can just. Yeah, can you see the exception? There is some exception. That's the reason it was unable to get invoked. What is that exception? Activity is not a activity is not a process. Okay, check out the process name. Check out the process name. Now it is see. Now it is completed successfully, right? Workflow completed successfully. Okay. Now just check it again. Click on go. Let us see the latest notification. Can you see? Status is active, right? Exits for your action process.
Yeah.
And now what you can do is directly can go to notification window, or then you can click on the home button, click on home hyperlink. It shows the notification, latest notification. The subject regarding provide your approval for notification and check out the date here, 7 June. So you see it is showing two things, right? That is approve as well as reject. How it is getting? How it is getting shown? It's because of the lookup type what they mentioned here. The remaining two buttons they'll be shown by default. But we can just ignore them. Nothing but we can also disable them. But as of now, they are getting shown by default, but we can just like we can have one more attribute to disable these things. So now if you observe, whether you click on approve or reject, it will go to end. And one more thing, observe here, whenever you have an approval notification, you automatically this action is still be shown. Automatically this action is still be shown. We does not need to write any extra coding for this one. It's a by default process. Okay. Now just click on approve. So now the workflow is approved. Again, what we do is again execute this program. Just generate the workflow again. Now refresh the page. This time we'll perform a reject. This time we'll perform the reject. But how do you know? How do you know in the back end whether like what is happening? As of now, like we have not written any special coding for that one, right? But let us observe from the status monitor what happens when you perform reject and what happens when you perform the update. And now just search with the internal name or maybe with the other name also. Now initially we perform the approval, right? We perform the approval. For your action process we perform the approval. Now just check out on the status diagram. Click on the status diagram. It will show a Java applet window. It will show the total graphical flow of the process. Now you have to enable the Java applet here. Can you see? Now it went from the start, then to the for your action notification, then to the approval, then to the end. Correct? Now you can search for the other one also. Now click on this one and click on status diagram. Show the other one. Reject. So this time is calling reject. So by checking this green color line, you can observe that what is happening in the workflow. So that is how we can monitor the workflow. Now, what is the extra thing now what we do is like now we know how to design a for your action notification, right? But let us say now what we would like to do is we would like to enhance our process now. We would like to enhance our process. Nothing but like when a notification is approved, when a notification is approved, I want to clearly send an information notification to the user saying that okay your workflow is approved. And when it is rejected, you want to clearly send a notification to the user saying that your workflow is rejected. You got it right? So we'd like to enhance.
Yeah.
We will add a one more information notification saying that your request is approved or whether your request is rejected. Nothing but we require two more notifications, right? We require two more notifications. So now what we do? So here on the message, first of all, you require two messages. One is approval message, another is reject message. New message. So I just say approve message. Approve message. I will say your notification is approved. In the same way, I'll create one more thing called reject message. Reject message. The workflow is rejected. Okay. Now, same way we have two more notifications. One is approved notification, another is rejected notification. The notification, I'll create a new notification saying that approve underscore notification, and what is the message? They require approve message. Okay. Now you create reject notification also. The notification will say reject notification. Reject. And what is the message? They require reject message. And that's it. Okay. Now what I will do? You just delete these particular lines here. You just delete these lines and just make it appropriate here. And drag and drop this for your action. Approve notification as well as reject notification under the window. This process window. Okay. And also drag and drop this attribute except user under the approve notification as well as under the reject notification. As of now, even if you save it, it will not work because there are some validation which has to be performed. While whenever you can save, always it validates whether everything is correct or not. Now just perform the linkage here. This is called when you click on approve, and this should be called when you click on reject. And now link this to end. Link this to end. Okay. And also assign the username. Assign the username. And the reject also assign the same username because like we are not sending the notification to manager as of now. It's within the same user we are doing this kind of logic, but later on we'll send the notification to the manager also. Let's wait for some time. We'll show you that logic also. Now just save it. Perfect. And click on validate. Yes, perfect. Successfully validated the design. Now it's the correct time to invoke the workflow again. Now invoke the workflow. Execute. Now go to status monitor or maybe you can click on home hyperlink. So it shows the latest notification. Now this time again click on approve. Click on approve. And can you see the approve message? You got approve message automatically. Right? Your notification is approved. Now again execute the workflow. Again execute the workflow. and refresh it.
What we're doing it, we are doing it for a same user only, right?
Right,
But
right,
in a
right.
business logic, it will be differ, right?
Right, right. I'll show you that one also. Now, within the same
Okay.
user, let us, like we are not considering any business logic, but we'll do that logic also. Nothing but like
Yeah.
how do you send the notification to the manager and those things also. The only thing you'll differ is, see,
Okay.
instead of this user name, you just get the manager name and just then mention that one. That's it. You'll not find any much difference at all. So here we have this XX user, right? So I'll show you that. Wait for some time. I'll tell you. Here. Now I'm just sending a notification to the same user. Now I get click here and this time just click on reject. So this will show the reject message. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Now let us say, now instead of this dummy logic, let us say like you want to send the notification to the operations manager. So first of all you have to find out who is the operations manager, right? So let's start from FND user where user underscore name is equal to operation. Now what is the employee ID of this user? This employee ID is 25. Now let's start from what is that table name here?
For all people,
For all people we have the employees and for all what is that supervisor or something is there? No,
yeah, for employee details,
no, no manager, supervisor details. For all assignments, right? Assignments. For all assignments.
Okay.
Yes, for all assignments. Now from this one we can get who is the manager for this particular user, right? For all assignments. Now what assignments? Just go there. Okay, perfect. And here where person ID is equal to 25. Now this particular assignment table is giving 5 records, right? But like if you observe, there will be only one active record. As per the HRML, it's the date control table, right? So what you can do, this is not showing appropriate field. Just enable the appropriate EMS formula, enable the NLS stuff here. So if you see the date format, just make it as RR also. It shows the 4 digits of the date, so you can easily find out which is an active record. Now if you see which is an active record here, this is an active record, right? This is an active record. And now, if you observe here, and who is the supervisor ID? In this table, you can get supervisor ID also. There's a column called supervisor underscore ID. Okay. Now in this one, supervisor ID is 31. Nothing but the person ID of the supervisor is 31. So let's start from for underscore people length where person underscore ID is equal to 31. So now user 31 is the supervisor of the this 25. Now, if you want to find out what is the name which is assigned in your friend user is, find out whether this particular user is this particular HRMS user is having any assigned username or not. So what you can do, simply go to this one. So let's start from friend user where employee is equal to 31. Okay. Now C Brown is the manager for the operation. C Brown is the manager for this particular operation user. Now what I will do is, see, now it is not correct to say that C Brown is the manager for the operation, but it is nothing but it is based on the employee ID which you assign, right? For this employee ID, for this person ID 25, the manager ID is 31. That is what I am trying to tell you. Because if you see, okay, let us understand this way. Let us say person ID in 31, 25. Okay. Now, please observe this here. And what is the full name of this user? Feature or something is there? No? Yes, stock. For the stock miss pad, the manager name is C Brown. Okay, got it. For the stock miss pad, the user C Brown is the manager. And now what we do is, now I'll send a notification for the approval to C Brown. Instead of sending the notification to the same user, I'll try to send the notification to C Brown. Now what we do is, let us take one more this what is a browser. So log into the instance now. Okay, it will be allowed. Okay. Now I will log in with cbron. I'm not sure what is the password, but I'll try with welcome, or else we can reset it. Yeah, perfect. So now I log in the user cbron. So now what I will do is I'll try to change some logic in my workflow now. What we do is like I'll create one more temporary attribute called XX approver or XX supervisor. I'll say XX supervisor is my attribute. Okay. Assign this particular XX supervisor under the for your action notification. Under the for your action notification, I'll update this one logic also. Now, what we have done for the approval purpose, as of now we have been sending the user, right? So in the for your action notification, this time what you do is click on the node attribute and change it to XX supervisor. Change it to XX supervisor and click on OK. Now, while calling the workflow, what we do, we are assigning the value to this particular one, right? So instead of that one, now what I will do is XX user will be operations only, but I'll declare one more variable called p underscore supervisor underscore name, where capital and with p underscore supervisor underscore name colon is equal to this one. Sorry, same dot. Okay. Now, what is the value you want to assign this particular supervisor? You want to assign the cbron. And what is the parameter name? XX supervisor. Okay. Now, this XX supervisor value, I'm assigning the username cbron, and for this XX user, I'm assigning the operation. Now, by default, if we execute the workflow, what will happen? Okay. Anyways, you execute it and understand. Now, I'm just executing this workflow, and what will happen? The notification will not be sent to this user at any point of time unless it is approved or rejected. This user operation cannot see that one. Can you see? There is no chance, right? There is no chance at all. This user cannot see the notification at all. Now just refresh on the cbron page. Can you see the approval notification now for the cbron?
No.
Right. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Now click on this notification, check from your approval. Click on approve. Click on approve now. Now this user, now like go to the operations user now. Go to the operations here. Click on refresh. That's fine. And this user has to see the approve message. Can you see approve message?
Yes.
And now you can also go to the workflow administrator, the application where you can monitor the status monitor. Now, how can I monitor status monitor from here? Because I've assigned the user key as this operation user. That is why I'm capable enough to monitor the workflow also. It depends upon to which user you assign the user, right? So yesterday we have seen some logic for that, right?
Yes. We given for operation.
Yes. So that is why this operation user is capable enough to monitor the workflow also. Now, just check this one here and click on action history. And can you see here what happened? Now it started the for your action process here, and we have the starting process here, and now for your action process, right? For the action notification, and it was the activity result is approved, right? Activity result is approved, and then it went to performer. Who is the performer for the for your approved notification information, right? This is for stock fact, and is approved by Brown Cassie, E Brown. This row, if you observe, it is done by C Brown, and this, if you observe this row, this is done by operation user, means nothing but the stock fact. HRMS username is stock fact, but the FND username is operations. That's the difference. Okay. And now you can get some more information also. Click on again monitor search. Now what you can do? You can also find out the status diagram here. Now it went to approval, right? And here, right? Supervisor is performer. Status is complete, and result is approved, right? So which user it was assigned? It was assigned to user Cassie Brown, right? And if you see this particular activity, this was assigned to stock fact. Now we just click on the appropriate, like you can also call it as activity or there's one thing, some other name also, activity or a function. You can call generally culture activity. You can just click on this activity. It will show you what is the assigned value, who is the assigned user for that one. Okay. Now this is how we can assign. It's very simple one. This is how we can find out who is the supervisor and send the notification to the supervisor, and based on that we can write the appropriate logic. Dynamically also we can do it. As of now I'm hard coding all the information, right? Now as of now I hard coded like at this particular value. So C from I'm hard coding it. But what we can do is at runtime we can find out who is the logged in user, and at runtime, like instead of hard coding it, what you can do, you can write this appropriate query and find out who is the supervisor at runtime. That's only different logic you have to use.
Yeah, sure.
You got it right?
Yeah, can you show me that, Sridhar? Yeah, I got it right. Can you show me that how to get it? Because I always struggle on this part only.
Okay, see, it's very simple. What you have to do is, let us say, first of all, okay, I will write within the same process. Instead of hard coding it, at runtime I will try to do the logic now. Okay, the first thing is you have to get out, you have to get the employee of the logged in user. Now this logged in user, I'll be like hard coding it. Now from that one, what I will do is first of all get the logged in username. Now what you can do, generally like we have this option, right? Extended profile username. You will get this value. So this will be the current logged in user. But this time what I will do is I will assume that operations is my logged in user, and then I'll write the query. Wait a minute, give me a minute, I'll try to write a query for that. Now what I will do, person ID is equal to person ID in. Select employee ID from FND user, where username is equal to the logged in username. So instead of I have not initialized my app, so I cannot get the value. So I'll just use this one. So I'll make use of this query, nothing but as an open cursor or maybe implicit cursor. I'll do it. So now what you do? So here, okay. Here what we do?
The thing is that, right, if you're having a multiple approver, more than one approver, right, hierarchy goes, then we will use a for loop kind of things, right?
No, this is now, as of now, this is a single approach. See, now a particular requirement.
Yeah.
Now we will have a hierarchy, but at any point of time, you will not have multiple supervisors, right? You will have a supervisor hierarchy will be there. But for an employee, it will only.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it right.
Yeah, no, I'm asking that only. Yes, Sridhar, I'm asking that hierarchy supervisor only. Yeah. Hierarchy supervisor, how we can do it? That is a reason. That's the one I'm asking.
Yeah, that is also an easy one. Let us finish the single level supervisor, then I can show you the multi-level supervisor also. But let's wait for some time.
Okay.
So now, what we do is, first of all, get the supervisor ID. So here, this particular query may return you multiple records. This query, if you observe, it will give multiple records. What you have to do is very simple. What you can do is, you have to write, these all logic. Let me write that one also. Always you have to mention that the state between, for all HRMS date employee record, date effective record, you have to mention this one. Simply between effective start date as well as effective end date. Okay, you can have fun if it doesn't work.
Spelling is wrong of effectivity.
Okay, this is what you have to do. So just mention the effective date, logic for all the whenever you use an employee, whenever you use HRMS, always you have to mention these logic. Okay, now we got a single result. Copy this one. Okay, and now what we do? Assign this particular one to some variable, underscore supervisor, underscore ID, and number. So at one time, for a given user, we are getting who is supervisor ID, nothing but the employee ID of the HRMS user. And then finally, what you have to do, you have to get the username of this one. So select user underscore name from FND user, where employee ID is equal to what is that? Supervisor ID. Employee is equal to supervisor ID, and We'll fetch this value user underscore name into which column? T underscore supervisor name. I will remove this call assignment now. I'll remove this value here. Okay. Now at runtime, based on my login user, who is nothing but operations, I'm getting the supervisor ID, and based on my supervisor ID, I'm getting what is my supervisor name. Based on my supervisor ID, nothing but my employee ID of my supervisor. Based on that, I'm getting the username of it, and then I'm calling appropriately now the remaining stuff. Now compile it. Okay, got some error. Okay, sorry. We are writing this into plan. Username. Yeah.
No, that select statement, right? Select P underscore supervisor, right? That is, we have to use it into class, right? Above select statement.
Oh, okay. Supervisor. Yeah, sorry. Maybe the line is there.
Sridhar, you will be showing that looping also, right? How to in looping on workflow, that looping concept also will be telling, right?
Yeah. Okay, now it got completed successfully. Now this time, observe whether the manager has received a notification or not. Observe whether manager has received a notification or not. Got it? Right? At runtime, based on logged in user, we're getting this one. You can approve, so if you send the approval message. If you reject, it will send you a reject message. Okay?
If it is more than one hierarchy means, then we have to, how will we write it then?
So now that is here, first of all, it's very similar, Ramesh. Nothing but let us say, now let's assume that you have output. Okay. Let me write here. And assume that you have a notification. Okay. Now we require two level of approvals. Approval one. Okay. And if it is approved, then send the approval to second level approval. Approval. Now it is rejected. Let us say approval one is, if approval one is approved, then only you send to approval two, right? Then else you will not send it. Else you will not send it, right? Then for them. Now let us say if approval one is rejected, let us assume that if approval one is rejected, simply you call them you reject. Now what we generally do is, if you have that kind of notification, first of all, you have to find out who is the logged in user, find out the supervisor name, find out this supervisor name, as well as the other supervisor name. That is what you have to find out. That's the only extra thing. So now these all attributes, now like how do you get all these attributes? See, at runtime, like you see, I have to get into PLC code, right? Then only you'll understand those ones. Unless you know how to call a PLC code program, you cannot do that one. Now we have to know how to call the PLC code program from the workflow. Then only we can understand that logic. Unless that, we cannot understand that one. Okay, just give me some time.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah. So now clear with the single level approval.
Yeah.
Right? Now what we do is we'll try to enhance a little bit more. What I will try to do is we'll try to call the PLC program. I'll try to call the PLC program when it is approved or when it is rejected. Okay. What we do is we'll try to call a PLC API to get called whenever it is approved or whenever it is rejected. Okay. Now yesterday I was telling you that when you are trying to call any of the PLC API, the underlying PLC API should have the appropriate signature, right? Nothing but the number of parameters. So I have designed a PLC API which will have the set of parameters. Now, if you observe this one, the PLC API here, this is my API name, and here approve workflow status and reject workflow status. There are two processes which I created here. And now if you observe here, any procedure, if you want to call from the workflow, should have these set of 5 parameters, 4 input parameters and 1 output parameter. It's a by default signature you require. Whenever you want to invoke a procedure from the workflow, they should have this logic. Okay? And what is the logic I have written inside this particular procedure is this object here. Now, I'm not written much logic here. It's a very simple one. I'm trying to insert a log into the some custom table. The table called XS_WF log, which I'm trying to insert a log status, whether it's upload or whether it's rejected or maybe some kind of status information. Okay. First of all, when we try to do what we do is, let us say I delete this data. Now what we do is, let us say when it's upload, I want to call my workflow approval processor. So how do we call it? Make a note of the package name. Right here, make a note of the package name and make a note of the processor name. Okay. Copy this logic and go to the workflow process. On the approve notification, double click here and mention the function name. That's it. The function name is nothing but your package procedure name, your procedure name. Function name is nothing but your procedure name. So whenever it is approved, I will call the approve workflow status procedure, and whenever it is rejected, I will call the workflow rejected procedure. So save it and make a note of the rejected procedure also. Copy and click on apply. Save it and validate it. Okay. Now what we do? Try to execute this one and see how it works. So there's no complex business logic involved here. It's very simple, but later on we can just enhance those things also. Now it's fine. Now go to the Firefox here, refresh here. Yes, I got the approval notification. Click on this one, click on approve. Now just check out the database table. Check out the database table whether we got a report or not. Because I have approved, right? Sorry, yeah, approved. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yes. The same we can try for reject also. Let us say again I will execute this one and go to the Firefox browser.
So this is nothing but a post notification, right?
Yeah, of course. See, pre-notification also you can do it, or post-notification also you can do it. If you want to do a pre-notification, what we do? That's very simple. On the notification itself, you have to call one more one. I'll show you that one. Now, it's a post-notification. What you said is correct. It's a post-notification. And refresh here. And now this one is just perform a reject. We try to perform a reject here. And check out the database. This has to insert some kind of custom logic. Remove reject like this. Right? Okay. So what I'm trying to show you is, when you like, there are some, it all depends upon the business logic, right? So there is no direct single solution. Now sometimes what may happen is, if it is approved, you want to do some kind of logic. If it is rejected, you want to do some other extra logic, right? So that is what I was trying to show you. Here, instead of doing some extra logic, I'm just inserting data into some custom table. Okay, that is what I'm trying to show you. Now, so this is what we can call the post notification stuff. But let us say if you want to do something during initialization of the workflow itself, during like once user is trying to send the notification itself, you want to do some logic. What you can do on the notification itself, see on this notification itself, you can call some logic. We have some function name, right? Here itself, nothing but like a pre-notification. Before raising a notification itself, you can just do some logic here. Or other way also, what you can do is, now let us say I'll just remove this logic. Okay. Now I'll create one more function here. X6 invoke yes equal here, something like this. Okay. Generally we do like this. Connect here and connect this one. And yeah, one more thing also here. Let us say, okay, wait for some time. Not to be much more confusion here. Now on this one, what I will do is like nothing but pre-notification. Before calling my notification itself, if you want to do some kind of business logic, a pre-notification. What we can do is very simple. Now again I'll try to call one more API, one more procedure here. We have something called sample notification, right? Sample workflow procedure. I think have logic here inside this one. Yeah, sample process activity. Now what I will do, I will call this particular procedure when the user is trying to, when you are sending notification. Pre-notification logic. And save it. Okay. Now Again compile and execute. Validate, execute, and refresh. Yeah. So now here, without whether it is approved or rejected, before itself we have inserted some logic, right? And observe whether we got extra record in the table or not. Observe this one. Can you see sample process activity? Ramesh, pre-notification logic.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is a pre-notification logic.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we can see like a pre-notification as well as post-notification stuff. Okay. So now here today what I'll do is I'll stop here, but next time what we do is I'll try to tell you what exactly we discuss next time. So as you were asking about multi hierarchy approval, right? Multi hierarchy approval. So when you say multi hierarchy, you have to consider how many levels you have to consider. You have to consider how many levels you want to consider. Let us say I'll consider 2 levels. I'm an employee. I want to consider my supervisor hierarchy as well as my supervisor hierarchy. 2 levels. Okay, multi-level hierarchy. And one more thing is like broadcasting your notification. Broadcasting notification. Another one is what we consider. Before getting to that one, let me show you how to embed an OAF region, and then how to embed an HTML content also. Okay, how to embed an HTML content, and later on we'll get into our the other kind of business parts, like you have a loop condition loop, right? Loops, those kind of stuff, loops, conditions, extra stuff. Okay, so these are the 4 things we'll consider initially, and then we get into the other logic. Okay.
Yeah, sure, Sridhar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ramesh, then I'll stop here. You just practice
Okay.
it, and maybe if you see once you do coding, maybe you can